Is everything we see what it seems to be? Are there sometimes hidden meanings, behind-the-scenes connections, and secret messages that we don't see at first glance? Welcome to our video, where we will delve into the world of conspiracy theories about one of the most iconic animated characters in the history of cinema. Yes, that's what it's all about Shrek. For years, Shrek fans have been plagued by questions. Is it just a coincidence that Shrek is green? Or is there a deeper meaning, some hidden message that we perceive quite differently? Or is this just the tip of the iceberg? In today's video, I have prepared for you some conspiracy theories about the green ogre. Feel invited. Number 1. Shrek, in fact, was inspired by the character of French wrestler Maurice Tillet. Tillet suffered from acromegaly, which caused his bones to grow in amazing ways, especially those in his face. We can only imagine what would have happened without these photographs of this unique man. Perhaps Shrek would have instead had the look of a prince with a face like a pile of bricks. One thing is certain, without Tillet, our beloved ogre might have looked very different, or might not even have been created. Number 2. Was Fiona a cannibal? So, have you ever wondered what Fiona was doing in the dragon's castle before Shrek came along? Well, the story of this charming princess hides many secrets, and one of them is what she ate at that time. The castle where Fiona was imprisoned was no palace full of delicacies. Rather, it was a ruined fort, surrounded by a river of lava. Not a very inviting place for an extended stay. But what about the food? Here's where the theories begin. One suggests that before Fiona's parents left her in the castle, they stocked her with adequate food supplies. Another theory, however, is much more darker. It suggests that the princess may have been forced to eat the knights who came to rescue her. This is indeed shocking, but there are a few clues to back it up. For example, a large pot and a book with instructions on how to cut a knight were found in the castle. Is it possible that this was the kitchen where meals were prepared? However, when we consider that Fiona's dragon had no problem swallowing people whole, this theory seems a bit exaggerated. There has been a theory that it was Fiona's kitchen, where she cooked her meals in her heated form. And it even makes sense, since during Shrek's rescue of her, it was daytime and she was asleep in her bed, suggesting that she could function in her heated form at night. But what did she eat? There was neither a garden nor rats to eat at the castle, since she first tasted the latter when Shrek prepared them. And remember that at the beginning of the fairy tale, the villagers are frightened by stories about ogres eating people, and Shrek himself does not deny these rumors.
Well, actually, that would be a giant. Now, ogres, they're much worse. They'll make a suit from your freshly peeled skin. No! They'll shave your liver, squeeze the jelly from your eyes. Actually, it's quite good on toast.
Maybe it's just a scare story, but did you know that information about such a diet may have been known to Fiona as well? It's possible that, being in ogre form, she considered eating people as something normal. And for those who are new, be sure to click subscribe at the bottom for notifications of new videos. Number 3. Fairy tales often hide sad stories that break the hearts of even the most entrenched in fairy tale worlds. Such is the case with the family of teddy bears, featured in an early adventure in the movie Shrek. We first notice this family when Lord Farquaad's knights offer cash rewards for catching the fairy tale characters. There, in these caught souls and fantasy creatures, we find the teddy bears, 3 of them to be precise. But something isn't quite right. The teddy bears are divided in 2 cages. The parents in one, and the crying teddy bear, their baby, in the other. Then the teddy bears disappear from our field of vision until they return to our attention in a scene by the campfire. Unfortunately, only 2 of them, father and son, are present. Where is the mother? This question is a sad clue that leads us to the next scene. We find ourselves in Lord Farquaad's bedroom, and we see an unusual rug on the floor, right next to the fireplace. Yes, unfortunately, it's a mama bear. It seems that fate was not kind to the whole family, and Lord Farquaad was merciless in his decisions. This is one of those sad tales that are deeply rooted in the fabric of the fairy tale world of Shrek, reminding us that even in the brightest fairy tales, sometimes a shadow of sadness lurks. Number 4! Remember that iconic scene from the movie Shrek, when our green hero met his unusual companion Donkey? Take invest in a tick like that because he's driving you.
That was really scary. And if you don't mind me saying, if that don't work, your breath certainly will get the job done, cause you definitely need some Tic Tacs or something, cause your breath stinks,
he said to Shrek. But just as important was the question of his name. Before that happened, however, Shrek seemed to be bereft of identity. Do you recognize that moment of uncertainty in his voice? Shrek.
Man, I like you. What's your name?
Shrek.
Shrek? Well, you know what I like about you, Shrek?
That was the answer. Because Shrek simply didn't have a name before. Why did this happen? One internet user's theory suggests that Shrek simply didn't need a name before. He was self-sufficient, living in his green world, far from the human view of what is important. It wasn't until he met Donkey that he began to see the need for a name, giving rise to the Shrek legend we all enjoy today. Isn't it fascinating how one simple question could change his entire life? Number 5. Lord Farquaad, the dictator who gave himself the title, is a character whose genesis remains open to interpretation. No explanation was ever given in the production as to where he gets his lordly title. However, one theory suggests that he is, in fact, simply a dictator. His manner of ruling strongly supports this. Lord Farquaad manages and unscrupulously sends knights to certain death.
The first runner-up will take his place, and so on and so forth. Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
What's more, when he disappears forever, his subjects don't seem too concerned. Number 6. The theory is that Shrek was once an ordinary man, and the world depicted in the film is a post-apocalyptic future. After a nuclear war, it is possible for civilization to regress, if anything remains of it. According to this theory, radioactive waste changed the color of Shrek's skin and the rest of his body. This would also explain the talking animals and the presence of magic as effects of the bombing, not supernatural phenomena. Number 7. Shrek, seemingly just an animated children's movie, may be a much deeper social message hidden from our eyes. This theory suggests that the story of Shrek is a metaphor for various aspects of our society and culture. The first point of this theory focuses on Shrek as a symbol of the outsider, his being rejected by society because he is different, in his case because he is an ogre, reflects the experiences of people who feel excluded because of their race, sexual orientation, or appearance. Shrek is thus a symbol of the struggle against intolerance and intolerance of dissent. The second aspect of this theory is an implicit criticism of consumer culture. Shrek represents the simplicity of life in the province, far from the bustling city. His quiet life in the swamp puts him in opposition to the urban society rushing after luxury and prestige. The film can therefore be a warning against losing the valuable things in life to consumerism. Another point is the implicit criticism of gender stereotypes. In the film, Shrek surprises by reversing traditional gender roles. It is Princess Fiona who saves Shrek, not the other way around. This can be a signal that a person's worth does not depend on his gender, and that stereotypes are limiting and unnecessary. Finally, Shrek can also be interpreted as a critique of politics and power. Lord Farquaad, the antagonistic character, represents a politician focused on power and control, who uses his position for his own benefit. Through Shrek's struggle against him, the film may reflect the struggle against authoritarian regimes and social injustice. Thus, the conspiracy theory about Shrek suggests that the film is much more than just a fun animation. It is a story with a deep social message that can be interpreted in many ways. I invite you to watch the previous video about the Joker. I leave you an annotation.